This episode of the Totally Rad Show is brought to you by Netflix. Coming up, if you like fighting and martial arts, then you're gonna want to check out our review of The Raid Redemption.
Today in movies, we are talking about The Raid Redemption, which is out in select theaters now. You can use the internet to find out if it's playing.
You can?
What is this device?
A town near you.
Oh, a tablet or another one?
So The Raid is a film from Indonesia. It's actually directed by a guy named Gareth Evans, who is a Welsh-born director who's been making movies in Indonesia for the past few years. And it premiered at the Toronto Film Festival to astounding accolade, and then has since been playing it at like South by Southwest and Fantastic Five, like all the great, you know. And now it's finally been released in America with the subtitle The Raid Redemption. They are planning a trilogy, hence the subtitle. And they're also...
Usually Redemption's the second one.
I know, I was actually thinking that. But in addition to that, there is going to be an American remake that's being written right now. Also, they rescored the movie with Mike Shinoda from Linkin Park and Joe Trapanese, I believe, redid the score for what we saw today.
So I really like the score.
Just to put it in context, we'll get there.
Hold your opinions till the questions.
Yeah. Just put it in context. In the early 70s, or in the mid 70s, action movies were forever changed because a legend known as Bruce Lee started making movies. And really, there hadn't been martial arts films in America. I mean, there's the Shaw Brothers movies that would play, but Bruce Lee really brought that to America, and no one had seen a martial arts movie. In the 80s, late 80s, early 90s, Jackie Chan was happening in Hong Kong, but America got its first glimpse at John Woo and the Hong Kong action scene, and no one had ever seen an action movie.
Pretty sure you left out Chuck Norris.
He's pretty sure I did too. Him and Bruce were whatever, but and no one had ever seen. Once again, we had now gotten gotten Chuck Norris because of Bruce Lee and all those, and then all of a sudden, no one had seen an action movie the way that John Woo was making action movies. Then in the 90s, America finally embraced Jackie Chan, and no one had ever seen an action movie the way Jackie Chan was making action movies. Then in not too long ago, in the 2000s, we saw a guy come out of Thailand named Tony Jaa with a movie called Ong Bak, and no one had seen a martial arts movie the way Tony Jaa, right? So now, this could be that next wave. This movie is The Raid, showcases the martial arts Silat, which is sort of the national martial art of Indonesia. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. But
did this director work with these lead actors before?
Yeah, and
is this like his team?
In a movie called Marantau, which is the lead of this, I believe, is also the lead of that.
Because that's the reason I ask is because all those other examples that you mentioned, that's sort of the signature is the filmmaker and the lead star are mostly the same guy, but or at least they stay together and
like Chow Yun and John Woo.
Or Jackie Chan and Jackie Chan. Tony Jaa.
Although actually Ong Bak does have a director that is a different guy, but Tony Jaa did, I think, direct one of the scenes or something like that. Yeah. Anyway. That is the hype. That is the build up. I'll start with Jeff, just because Jeff, you were like, I don't even know what this is, and I'm thinking to myself, not only
want to give a quick explain of
what is the plot? Yeah. I'm sorry. You're right. Sorry. The Raid is about...
It's a very quick synopsis.
It is a very quick synopsis. Basically, there is a building in the inner city ghetto that is run and operated by the worst of the worst badass criminals. And it's a safe haven for them, and no one goes in that is not one of the worst people in the world. Well, now, the badass SWAT of, I guess, Indonesia or whatever, are going to go in and raid the building. But most of them are like new recruits first, whatever, through circumstances of the plot, and they have to fight their way in and then fight their way out. That's the plot. Jeff, you didn't know anything.
I did not know at all what this was about.
I was thinking you didn't even hear that, so you don't even know what's about.
I didn't even know it was an action movie.
But you didn't even know it was subtitled. I was like,
there was a part of me that thought it might be a documentary about massively multiplayer online games.
Amazing.
That's crazy.
That's awesome.
So, Tell us what you thought.
That's how wildly unprepared I was. It is. This movie's awesome, and I loved it. It's so the first bit of it is sort of a John Woo-esque gun fu movie, and you don't even really get a sense that there's going to be martial arts until like a half an hour in. And when the martial arts arrives, the martial arts really arrives, and it's very satisfying. There's a brutality to it, almost borderline grisly nature to some of the stuff. I mean, it's not Jackie Chan. It's
not whimsical.
It's not whimsical. Yeah. It's not, hey, wow, I'm going to use this chair. And
this ladder happens to be here. Wing!
Yeah, the guy uses a chair, but he uses a chair to kill dudes, and very, very brutally. And there's like, knife fights where he's like, stab, 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 and it's like blood, Very fun. The thing I liked most about this movie, though, is, as we've said before on the show, oftentimes these kinds of action films will be basically like pornography, where they're really there to give you that scene, and everything else is just, we're waiting for that scene to show up. It's not really a movie, it's just filler between set piece moments of the action. Here, I was really impressed with how much the drama of the movie holds up and how I was really invested in these characters. And I will speak specifically to what you said about me not knowing anything going in. Not only did I not know anything going in, I was not familiar with any of these actors. And the thing the movie does so interestingly, I think, is most of these kinds of movies, you'll have like the 20 minutes of setup and then the stuff starts, right? And the 20 minutes of setup is like, here's who our characters are, here's why you should care about them, here's who the good guy is, here's who the bad guy is. He's got a love interest, he's really working because his girlfriend's back home and she's pregnant and you better care about him. All that establishing stuff we just sort of have to muddle through in order to get to the real fun, action-y thing we signed up for.
Right.
Here, we're in it. We're starting with the crazy stuff right there. We don't know who anyone is. I wasn't familiar with any of these actors, so I didn't even know who the good guys were necessarily. I mean, it becomes clear pretty quickly, but I didn't even know like which of the team I'm supposed to be. It's not like it's Brad Pitt that I'm like, oh, there's Brad Pitt, I know.
Right.
I didn't know where I was or who I was. They don't explain anything. I'm just in it, and all of those relationships come out of the action and what happens moment to moment inside the building. So there's no kind of awkward setup to have to get through. We're in it already, and I found that to be so refreshing and so much fun that I really had a great time with this movie. It's stylistic, it's interestingly shot, it's just dripping with style, honestly. And there's so many really cool set pieces and amazing fight scenes. I had a blast. I really had a good time.
Yeah, this is definitely a movie on 11. But not only is it a movie on 11, because my biggest fear going into this movie was it's just going to be a wall of adrenaline and that's it. And that's not what this movie is. And like Jeff says, I think one of the things that I was sort of the most excited about coming out of seeing this was realizing you don't need. There's a difference between plot and storytelling. And this movie is all about storytelling. There's very little plot. You know what I mean? Like it's a one-line movie. It's, SWAT team raids a, building
of nondescript nature.
Period. That's it. That is all that you need to hang your movie on. And at the end of the day, if the writing is good and the acting is good, that's enough. But then you get into this crazy amount of action. And the one thing I think a lot of these martial arts movies, and Ong Bak is a good example of this, that fall into, is you get one speed of action sequence. This movie, the first 20 minutes of them in the building is slow, is tense, is no kicking. You know what I mean? There's a scene where like the one guy comes out of the bathroom and everybody's standing at the end. It's a 5-minute sequence, and it's suspenseful, and we haven't even gotten into the ass kicking yet. You know what I mean? And so the tonal sort of shifts in this movie were really expert. The other thing that I think a lot of martial arts movies sort of fall into is there aren't many really smart things that happen, or things that you wouldn't think to do. And in this movie, there's probably about 10 or 15 moments where everybody in the theater goes, "What?"
Yeah.
Like, You know what I mean?
Like, let's just go through the floor.
Yeah.
How about that?
Well, or like, I'm going to take this guy's neck and jump myself backwards through a door that has been broken and impale him on the broken part of the door on the bottom.
That's what I would do if I was in that situation.
That's just because I haven't had a broken door around. That's why I haven't done it.
And
I
a
like
guy to
doors
fight.
too much. I like doors too much.
Doors.
So the problem, so you get these moments where you're like, not only am I seeing all this awesome action, and I will say there was one time where in the sort of last action sequence where it went on a little bit long. It was still all great stuff, but I just got a little fatigued just from watching. I was like, give me a second, Jesus. But really only for like a split second in the last fight sequence, and it's a really minor quibble. But for the most part, things were happening that were just like, I would never have thought to do it that way. Whereas some things you're like, oh, that's an interesting way to execute on that idea that I probably could have come up with if I was like, I mean, not that I'm a
Are you talking about
guy.
the filmmakers, or are you talking about the characters in the story dealing with the situation that they're in?
Well, both, because at the end of the day, the characters are doing stuff that I'm like, what? Wait, what? Why are you using the fridge? You know what I mean? And like amazing moments happen. The other thing is,
to be honest, we've seen action heroes use fridges.
That was an homage
And
to
bombs,
nuking. That actually
and-
might have been an homage to nuking the fridge.
Yeah.
But yeah, this movie, Soup to Nuts, is great, and the performances are amazing across the board. Everybody, the big bad boss guy.
he's
dripping. When he
great.
does the announcement over the thing,
He's great.
Dripping with awesomeness. And the other thing is there's great ideas in this movie. So again, it's that storytelling versus plot. You know what I mean? Like the kid hitting the intercom button, and now it's like, and everybody's just sort of standing there like, well, here we go. You know what I mean?
I think some of the things that make these big tentpole martial arts movies, tentpole not as in if they're successful or whatever, but tentpole as in like important historically, in that we haven't seen anything like it before. We had never seen a guy fight the way Bruce Lee had fought. Then Jackie Jenkins around was like, we had never seen anyone fight like him. And then Tony Jaa, the way that they use elbows and knees in Muay Thai, we never saw that kind of movement that way. And with this form, Silat, what did you guys think of it? Just putting a magnifying glass over that, the way not just the choreography, but the way that martial art looks on screen. What did you think of it?
I thought
do you think it has lasting power?
I think it's super cool. It didn't strike me, that particular thing that you're bringing up didn't strike me as much as I felt the new thing it brought to the table that I hadn't seen before was the marriage between gunplay and knife play with that martial art, where it's not like, oh, everybody just seems to know how to use martial arts instead of using guns. It's every time they use martial arts, it was in addition to using guns, or it was because the guns were taken. It made sense. And there's plenty of gunplay because guns are the most effective medium, in this situation.
And there's actually, they even make a little nod to that of going, there's that fight that starts with a guy, literally, guy has a knife, guy has a gun, and the guy with the gun just sort of moves him in and is like, I don't like this. It feels too And then, you know what I mean? An awesome fight happens. So you do have that realization where a lot of martial arts movies are sort of like, why wouldn't you just pick up a gun and shoot him? And in this, they do that, and there's so much of a chunk there, but then you realize they're not going to have unlimited ammo, they're not going to have access to all those guns once the S hits the F. So it is great that there's sort of a mix of whatever they have, they use. And as far as the actual style of it goes, it feels very visceral, and it actually feels a little bit like the style, I can't remember if it was Israeli, but the style that...
Krav Maga?
I don't think it's Krav Maga, but the style that the new, that Christopher Nolan's Batman uses.
Oh, it's...
A lot of elbows, a lot of...
It's Filipino. It's Filipino.
Yeah, like a scrimma or something like that, but that's the stick.
That's the stick.
Yeah, it is. That was what he did for Batman Begins, because when he was,
Yeah, but so it has a lot of that same feeling where it's a lot of elbows and close contact stuff rather than the sort of like garish, like wushu stuff where it's really all about circular, big circular. This is really sort of like I get my hands on you and I'm doing things in
It also seems like a lot of knee attacks, like leg stuff.
It felt very much like a mix between Muay Thai and that style that they use, the Filipino style. That
I
they use
love
in
the
Batman.
use of the knives in it.
That was
how you never you see plenty of knife fights in movies, but I've never seen knives used the way they use them.
No way. And there's another one of those oh my god moments where he like blocks something and then stabs him twice in the chest. And then moves on to somebody else. And everybody in the theater was like, oh my god, that is the most amazing thing that we've ever seen. There's a lot of moments in this movie where it was like, that is the most amazing thing I have ever seen. And it was all, it is definitely a go. If you have any interest in this kind of action, run out and see it.
It's so wonderfully simple. It's almost like, it's like Die Hard times 100 minus any comedy, but just it's that lovely self-contained, simplistic you just got to get out of here, man.
Funny you should say that because the director was talking about the sequel and how he wanted to take it to the streets, make it now he's got to go. And I couldn't help but think that's like Die Hard with a Vengeance.
Yeah.
You know? And it's like which I
you
love.
got to do one in an airport first, is what you're saying.
Yeah. They're shooting in Dulles, actually.
Really cool. Anyway,
Yeah, no,
there
it
you
was
have
great.
it. The
Great movie.
Raid Redemption.
Redeemed. All right, everybody, be sure to stick around. We're going to be showing you a flashback to the 3rd year of the Totally Rad Show right after this. But first, sponsors. Damn.
Netflix, guys.
Serious.
Netflix streams TV shows and movies directly to your home, saving you time, money, and hassle. Looking glorious in 1080p on the brand new Apple TV, I must say.
Hey, that rhymed.
Hello. As a Netflix Unlimited member, you can instantly watch TV episodes and movies streaming directly to your PC, your Mac, your Xbox 360, your PS3, your Nintendo Wii console. And as you heard us talking about The Raid, that director's first movie, Merentau, is available on Netflix streaming. So if you have yet to see The Raid and want it, or it's not playing in your city, or if you saw The Raid and want to see more like that, Netflix has your way to do so. So for a limited time, you get a free 30-day trial membership. Go to netflix.com/TRS to sign up now. Also, if you're in the UK and Ireland, there's now Netflix available for you. So go to netflix.co.uk/TRS if you're in the UK, or if you're in Ireland, netflix.ie/TRS.
Very nice. All right, people.
To get the same free trial over
Get the
there.
same free. Here we go.
Check us out tomorrow for our review of the game Journey.
It's gonna go down on the 4th string right there. Like you're touching a woman. Not like you're digging out shit with your teeth.
There you go.
That
So
theory.
you know what? You'll actually be able to play a whole lot of stuff just by moving that up and down, staying in the exact same
It really
position.
hurts though.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel
Playing-
comfortable.
it's playing guitar, my friend.
That's what it's like.
That's why you get calluses on your fingers.
That's
see?
you just you put your fingers in really uncomfortably weird positions. That's playing the guitar.
Just
pretty
like
much
dating.
Dan becomes a man. Dan becomes a
I know I've been wanting to do geocaching for a long time. Our buddy Amtrekker geocached in all 50 states.
Yep.
And it's something that I've been all hot and bothered about for a while. So we have our technology. I downloaded a cool geocaching app on my new iPhone 3GS. And it ties us into geocache.com.
In here, that's what's that light? And that's sort of weird. There's a fluorescent light there. Shut up, dude.
Geocaching.com, dude.
Oh my god.
All right, use your stealth. This is when you employ your stealth, guys.
Okay. Quick, the shadows.
Quick to
Quick
the
to the shadows.
25 feet.
I think it's in that metal canister. I don't like
The sad possibility is that it's actually not here anymore.
That's true.
I mean, that's a possibility. Also, hint
What does it say?
says you don't want me to serve it up on a plate for you, do you?
What?
Guys, don't be scared. Okay, you guys don't be scared. It's me, it's Alex, it's me. Everything's cool.
What the hell?
Yeah, I'm from the future. I came from the future.
The future?
Yes, it's awesome, but in a bad way. Am I an actress? I'm not Hilary Swank.
Alex won!
Oh, winner, chicken dinner! What's up, Laser? You know what I did again?
How much strength did you have left?
Strength? 3 strength.
Nice. All right, let's do another game, guys.
Hell yeah.
Okay, ready?
So wait, no. Because the first thing that happened was my pants almost fell off.
Ready?
1, 2, 3.
Shit.
I'm in the crossfire! Ah, crap.
That was stupid. I'm dead already.
Are you dead, Jeff?
Yeah. Oh. I just stood there between you guys getting worked.
why don't we go inside and we'll start the tour
I'd
in
love
there
to.
with a little bit
Amazing.
of history.
Okay,
Do you guys know how to get inside?
Dan thinks he does.
Thinks he does?
I've heard, this is what you hear when you hear about the magic house, that there's an owl waiting to say a magic word to it.
That's right. What's the magic word?
It's either abracadabra or open sesame.
Associate magician.
I think it's open sesame.
All right.
Anybody who has anything sensitive or dangling here in the strike zone, right? And you have aspirations of having kids one day, make sure nothing is hanging outside. Hello. The leg loops when you tighten them down, right?
Say what? Say that again? I didn't see that. It sounds very important. You getting that?
Junk.
Is this happening for you?
I'm feeling his pulse.
Right here, in this general area?
Looks like you're choking him out. Like.
I feel like it's a nice spirit. I feel like we would know if
It's a Katie spirit.
If it was an evil spirit, we would.
We are going
feel
back to
it.
an E, so that's
Okay.
happening.
I'm not even. My fingers just like.
even touching.
I'm not. I could
Resting.
almost. I'm not touching actually.
I could almost, it's like I'm not even here.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what's the 5? What's 5?
5, Katie. 5 spirits surrounding me.
That's
It would.
Maybe it's commenting that there's 5 of us sitting around this board.
Maybe it was gonna do your
shit.
Maybe it was. Oh shit! That just happened.
mind blown.
Holy shit!
Oh! I was like, what's that sound?
Go!
Go Dan, faster! Faster, Dan! Run, Dan! Run, be free, TIE Fighter! Be free! Yes, Dan! Now run back to us! Run back this way, Dan! Yeah, but wait, don't drag it so much. The X-Men crashed and my pants came off. 3, 2, 1,
Run with me, run
go.
with me. I didn't want to kill Mike, so I just dropped everything.
Oh my god! Keep running! Why are you stopping? Wait!
You're letting it unspool.
Okay, go!
You can't let it unspool.
Go, Dan! Go!
Oh, it's amazing. It's bunny hopping.
Amazing, Dan!
All right, logic police. your time is over. I loved this movie.
You did not.
I loved
He's
it.
joking.
No. There's no irony here. I loved it sans irony. I loved it. I think, and let me just say this: I am in a small club of people who's
Like shitty movies? Are you kidding? You're seriously pulling our legs.
You were messing with us.
No. One of my favorite movies of all time is Deep Impact, and.
Oh my God, Alex!
I know, my mind's blown.
I went out. My mind's blown by your guys' reaction, actually. But I think you should listen to the whole review here.
Yeah.
It's time for the Totally Rad Show with Alex Albrecht, Dan Trachtenberg, and Jeff Cannata. This is the Totally Rad Show.
Welcome, all you dude and dudettes, to this week's episode of the Totally Rad Show. This time for the week of May 12th, 1986. Happy birthday, Daniel.
Hey, happy birthday,
Yes,
Dan!